Welcome to another edition of the Social Proof Podcast. My name is David.
It's not another edition.
It's not another edition?
It's just another episode.
It's just another
episode.
Another edition.
It's not an addition. EDITION. An addition, a new edition would suggest that we're doing a new thing, like a new version of.
It's a new year.
It's
we are
a new
doing
year.
a new thing.
Welcome to another episode of the Social Proof Podcast. Because he's just going to make it right.
I'll do my best sometime. But welcome to 2025.
Woo!
Brand new year. Do me a favor while we get this thing started. Just type the initials of the person or people that you're leaving in 2025. Just throw the initials in the chat, just in the comment section.
And while you guys are dropping initials, while you're dropping initials, let me name some names. Hold on, because I have a list.
I have my list.
I have a list, you guys. No, 2025, I feel it spiritually. Like I feel it energetically. Like the frequency that's moving through my body says, this is going to be your best year yet. Yeah. Like I just feel that. I feel that for the people in my circle. I feel that for you guys. I can't feel it for you, but I feel it on behalf of you. You got to feel it yourself. But for everybody that I get to directly impact and whose lives I get to be a part of, like I really feel like this is our time to shine, baby. This 100%. Is our time to shine. I went to church yesterday and Pastor Darius Daniels talked about the word for the year being anchor.
Was it evening, like bringing into the new year? Or
no, so I went to a 4:00 service. I got baptized yesterday.
Good, congratulations.
Again, it's going to take this time.
It didn't take the first time. It's crazy.
It's gonna take this time. No, but in all transparency, I got baptized I got baptized 3 times. Yesterday was the 3rd time. The first time as a child, and you're doing that like on behalf of your parents, choice for you. You don't know what it means, and they're dedicating you and all those things. But the second time I was baptized, I was in my 20s. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I knew what it meant. At that time, I had an understanding of what it meant to be baptized at that time. But I've had life experiences that made me crave it this time. Yeah, I've had life experiences that made me crave it. And so I wanted to rededicate my life. I wanted to recommit. I wanted to make it clear to God that I understand that everything that I have, everything that I've received, good, bad, and indifferent, I understand that none of this is from me alone. And I wanted to end the year, and this wasn't like a let me do it New Year's. We've been trying to get this on the calendar for months, and it just worked out that it ended up happening on New Year's Eve. So that said, my baptism was at 3:30. We went to the 4:00 service. And in that service, Pastor Darius Daniels was talking about the theme of Change Church for the year being anchor. And I've been looking, I do a word of the year every year to theme my year. And my word was reconstruction, like under reconstruction, right? Because I felt like I had been completely demoed in 2024. Like I felt like the foundation was still there, but the walls, the plumbing, the electrical, all those things had just been ripped out. And so this was my year to rebuild and reconstruct. But as I was listening to him preach this word, I think sometimes we are looking for a new thing just because a new year happens when I don't really have a new thing. My goals this year are what my goals were last year. I have to finish what I started, right? And what ended up happening in 2024 for me and for many people is that I didn't drown, but I did drift. I didn't drown, but I did drift, meaning I survived everything that I went through. Everything that I went through, all the highs, the lows, like we're here today. We've got smiles on our faces, and it's a genuine smile today. I'm genuinely excited about this year. I didn't drown, meaning I didn't lose the fight. I didn't succumb to the challenges. I just drifted away. I had tides that came through that drifted me further and further and further away from the target. And that word anchor is like, okay, The goals are the same. I still need to make the same $10 million. I still want my man. I still want the best health of my life. I still want the ability to be able to provide for me, my mom, and my daughter with ease, right? Like those things are still the same things. I still want to grow my community actionable CEO. Nothing changed. But now I need to be anchored. Yeah. That means that I need to be able to stand firm, be focused, be dedicated. That means that now I have to reach out a little earlier when I'm like, hey, Dave, I'm drifting. Like, I need you here, one arm under the other. He talked about to give a, what's the word that I'm looking for? Not a metaphor, but an analogy to this. He talked about him being, I think it was in Miami, with a guy friend of his, and they're out on jet skis. And they go out on these jet skis too far. And this big boat comes along and it causes a big wave. And so this big wave comes and it splashes, and Darius's jet ski flips over and flips him off of the jet ski, right? He's not injured. He's got on a life vest. So he knows he's not afraid of drowning. Yeah. He's afraid of that wave drifting him further and further away. So his friend comes over on his jet ski and he hops off the jet ski. But on one hand, he's holding on to his jet ski so it doesn't drift. And on the other hand, he locks arms with Darius so that he doesn't drift. In that moment, the friend was his anchor. We keeping you here. We keeping you steady. We keeping you here until this wave passes and you can get back on your jet ski and we can go back on with the mission. And that's like, that moment for me was like, that's what I've been feeling wrapped up into one narrated story, and it just made so much sense. So we're anchored.
Anchored 2025. I love it.
Yeah.
Are you able to identify the anchors? Do you have some things that you can identify? Okay, there's going to be an anchor when I slide too far to the left. There's going to be an anchor, people, situations.
There are people. So when you get baptized, it's a split second, right? Pastor Darius preached a word over me prior to, and that was probably the longest. I had a private baptism service or ceremony, and him pastoring a word over me was probably the longest of the whole process. When you step into this pool of water, immediately, like if you're ready to receive what it means to be baptized, immediately you're overcome with just like this feeling, and I can't swim. So I have this crazy, insane fear of not being in the water, but being touched by somebody in the water. When I was younger, I almost drowned. And I was in swimming lessons, and I was at the YMCA, and the instructors have all the kids in a pool, and you're learning your breathing techniques, right? And it's like 1, 2, 3, and they dunk you under the water, like hold your breath, and then they bring you back up. And it's like 1, 2, 3, dunk all the kids under the water, and they bring you back up. Well, my instructor didn't get me under the water on that 1, 2, 3 rhythm. So I was still breathing. And the water went up my nose. I panicked and so it was a thing. And so now when someone touches me in the water, instinctively I tense up, right? So I was never the candidate to throw in the pool. I'm for real coming out throwing hands, And so being in that water, I was nervous about, back up a little bit. When I got baptized the last time, they didn't dunk me in the water. They splashed me. They splashed me. And so it was fine. So I hadn't been dunked in the water since I was a kid. So when I'm dunked, I don't know how I'm going to respond to this. Like, I don't want to fear going into this dedication. I don't want to fear going into baptism. So I told Pastor Anthony, who was assisting, listen, I'm terrified of being touched in water. Like, just walk me through the process. How long am I going to be down? Can we do like a little count? What do I need to do? And he's like, look, just don't fight me. Just let go. When I stepped into that water, I felt anchored. Before Darius even, I felt like I was not afraid of anything. So I had Darius on one side. I had Pastor Anthony on the other side. There was no fear. The water felt like it was waiting for me. I needed to be there. And every piece of fear that I had outside of that pool went away as soon as I stepped in. And though it was a split second, when I went back, it felt like I saw a vision for all of the great things that, like, all of the things that have been worrying me and stressing me and plaguing me, like I saw a brief vision that it was all okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when people
That's
say
powerful.
that they went into another dimension and like maybe on their deathbed or something and they come back and they feel like they saw something.
Yeah.
It was like that for me. It was like spooky but safe. And so I feel anchored by that ceremony, period. Like I feel like that because of how it all came about. Number one, I have outstanding friends around me. On my birthday, I've always known it, but on my birthday, at my ceremony, I realized how strong of a foundation my friendships are. Like I felt how anchored my friendships are. Like they don't waver. You're not going anywhere, right? If I need somebody to show up, I don't have to beg anybody to show up. And in fact, my friends show up for me when I can't show up for myself or I can't ask to be showed up for. So friendship. And then getting back into my morning routine honestly started this morning and it felt so good. I was so motivated to get into it. So discipline is an anchor. Friendship is an anchor. My relationship in getting closer to God is an anchor. I'm reading the Bible. Oh, it's so much. Like it's just so much, you know. And I am on this spiritual journey, not as a plea, not as a saving grace, but it really was a pull on my spirit that's saying, you did this much and you took too much credit for it. I want to take you to the next level, but you're going to respect what I'm here for. And that's where we are right now.
Incredible, man. I'm this whole new year thing. I think people think that once the clock strikes a certain number and the calendar flips over, that everything's going to be different. But what you're saying is you are actually doing your very best to make sure this year isn't like any other year. Like you're doing the work.
I'm doing the work.
And I mean, we can't just, put another vision board up or just, another affirmation, but there has to be some things that happen. And I'm starting to realize the reason I don't fall too deep into depression, especially when bad things happen. Throughout the year, the world gets heavy.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all experienced this, but if you have, everybody has like different components of their life and it all gets heavy. If you had a day, I was talking to Word yesterday. So Word's doing something, we're doing a project together and he's working on more of the meetup stuff. And he called me and he's like, yo, we're going to have to charge this amount to do this thing. And this was yesterday and I blew up in my blow up way. It's not like
What'd you do? Get quiet?
I called and we had a stern conversation. I'm thinking he's supposed to do this and da-da-da-da-da-da. And he's like, no, but this is how it works. And after we got off the phone, I want to read you what I text literally almost maybe 5 minutes after, because we got off and I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to pay this invoice, but I want this, this, and this. And literally maybe 5 minutes later, I text him and said, sorry, I'm having a very frustrating day. You just happened to text at a bad time. Please forgive me.
I love that.
After I got off the phone, I realized it wasn't him, it was me. It all comes at the same time. And some people just end up getting the worst of it. I'm sure my wife has experienced that where I'm having a tough day and it seems like I'm attacking you, but it's not, you just can't, you're the last one after this heavy day. But I've been blessed to realize that even when the whole world feels like a weight on your shoulders, it's not a bad thing, because that's the thing that draws you back to your center.
Yeah.
It's almost like if you hit all your goals in 2024, would you be as eager to, okay, it's imperative, I need to be baptized right now. I get the realization that, I really do got a strong foundation. Like when these things happen, I've been blessed to develop my patience over the years, because I understand that all of this stuff that's happening keeps me coming back. Because if things get too good for too long, I'm going. There's a lot of things you can do with $500. I mean, you can have a night out with your significant other. You could buy some really expensive shoes. Well, really nice shoes are about double $500. You could buy a course where you can learn something for $500. But I have something better for you to do with the $500. I want to meet with you every single morning for the rest of your life. Well, maybe not the rest of your life, but every morning, Monday through Friday, for the rest of the year. I have information and game that have allowed me to build a successful business, a successful community, and a successful life all the way around. But I want to share that with you. But the only way we can accomplish this is not me selling you a course, not me giving you a one-on-one consultation, because even with that, you'll get the information, but you'll need more. I want to meet with you every single morning. Now, would I meet with someone every morning for $500 for a year? And the answer is yes. Actually, we've been doing this thing since 2017. We have what's called the morning meetup. Every single month, we have a theme, whether it's social media, whether it's motivation, whether it's strategy, whatever it is, we have a theme for the month, and every morning in that month, we have a conversation around that topic. And I am giving a wealth of knowledge, not only myself, but a lot of friends, a lot of people that you see on this podcast, they join every single week. So you need a community of people that you can grow with, and you need a coach. I'm your coach. The Morning Meetup is your community. Go to themorningmeetup.com. It's $499, and I will meet you every single morning for an entire year. Give it a shot.
We've experienced that. We had a season where things were just too good.
Yeah.
And we were out here wilding. We
100%.
were out here tripping.
For sure.
But we're back now, and for clarity, because people associate the turn of the calendar as you're supposed to have this feeling, and if that is the motivating factor for you, maximize that momentum, right? Sure. But being back is a constant work in progress. Mm-hmm. It is not saying that I won't feel sad on Friday. Yeah. It's not saying that I won't feel sad again next week. It's not saying that I won't have to pull back a little bit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I'm still dealing with things. I'm still in the process of a lot of things, but I feel supported. I feel like my foundation is strong. And let me tell you something. Through that whole year, 2024 was in the top 2 of the most challenging years I've ever experienced, right? Because depression was a foreign feeling for me. Even when I lost like everything, like I said on the episode of Full Transparency, I went through foreclosure, repossession, and bankruptcy in the same year. I was still happy. I was still joyful. I still knew that my time was coming. Like, I understood that this was just a moment, right? It was scary. It was disappointing, but I was still a happy person. Mm-hmm. This year, the feeling of depression was foreign for me. So I'm like, I don't know what to do here. I don't know how to respond to this. I can't just drink a juice because I tried to just drink some juices to overcome this, right? Like, I tried all the things, and you actually have to do some different work. And so there's still a process that I'm going through. I am still overcoming, but even through that season, the thing that I believe kept me the most is, though I lacked motivation, I never lacked faith. I never stopped believing. Like, though it felt like I just didn't want to get out of bed, I didn't want to do these things. At some point, I realized I wasn't going to hit my goals. I never lost faith. I just said, well, not now, but it's coming. Like, not now. Now is not your season. This is your season where God is trying to get your attention, and he got it, right? Yeah. And so I believe that, like, this isn't, for me, the one thing that stays consistent is my belief. I don't buy into the narratives that people try to put on me, right? Mm-hmm. So during that process, there was a doctor who I went to, and there was a doctor that I went to that prescribed me an antidepressant. You know, I'm not really a big medicine taker. It's, you know, it's only one time in a month that I'm really into my goody powders. Mm-hmm. He prescribed this antidepressant as a just in case. Mm-hmm. Just in case. We don't want you to drift too far. Just in case. And I took the prescription. I didn't get the prescription filled. And I said, I'm not taking this. Like, I want to talk to a nutritionist and a naturopath doctor and ask them, what would the Indians and the Asians do to treat depression? And so I get this list of all these supplements and these things that you can do. And so I did that instead, right? But then, and I'm coming back. I even told you, like, I'm feeling it. And I'm finally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. And then last week, suddenly, my dog has a medical emergency and I have to put him to sleep. Something that I have vowed to never do. Like, it was like, I had conversations with my dog during emergencies. I've posted and shared his journey online. Like, look, you're going to have to check out on your own. I'm not doing this to you. Don't put me in a position to have to end your life. I spiritually struggle with that. And so then that happens, and that just took me out. You don't realize how much you love an animal until you have to take their lives. I was prepared for it to be the end of his life. I was prepared for him to be dying soon. I was not prepared to have to hold him in my arms while they injected him with a solution that would end his life, right? So I struggled so badly with that. I told you I feel like I committed murder. And I struggled so badly with that I called my mom and I said, I need you to come and pick up this prescription that they gave me for the antidepressant. I'm probably going to need it. Like, this is bad. And so she's panicking. She comes and she gets it. She's talking to the pharmacist. She's like, what are the side effects? How should she take this? What are the things? And they're telling her, and she comes to my apartment and she's like, you got to do this, 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 because they said that the effects could be this, this, and this. And as she's talking, I'm really just like zoned out into another space. But all I hear are more side effects. And I don't need another side effect this year. And so I take the prescription and I'm holding it in my hands and I'm like, I'm not going to take it. There were people throughout this process that I shared that I'm not going to take it. And they're like, no, you need it. You got to take it. And I'm like, I know me and I know my ability to bounce back. I'm not going to take it. Instead, I went back to the vitamin D, the vitamin K, the vitamin B, the magnesium, the iron, all the things. And I'm feeling myself, coming out of it. You got to stay consistent with it. I'm feeling myself coming back and I'm able to breathe. I couldn't breathe for days. Like, I couldn't breathe without feeling that internal feeling of just complete sorrow. Like, it hurt to breathe. And so when I got back on that, I'm breathing again and I can feel it and I'm coming back. So I never lost sight of, I knew I would be okay. I've dealt with death before and I've dealt with death of humans, you know what I mean? And it wasn't his death. It was that I felt like I took his life and I thought we had a deal. I thought I talked to you. I thought I said, when you're ready, you've done a good job. Just go. And so that it was that decision for me. And so I say that to say, I was coming back and then that happened. And then you get tempted to give me the medication. And if you need the medication, I'm not saying don't take it, but I didn't feel in my heart that I needed it. I felt in my heart, I was still faithful. I still believed that this was just a moment. And I didn't want something that was going to mentally put me in a daze that I couldn't feel, because at some point you just have to feel it. Yeah. So I allowed myself the whole week. I stayed home alone on Christmas. I came out with you guys on my birthday. I went right back home and I didn't really come out again until I was forced to start for the new year, right? Because I'm getting baptized. But I never, I just knew that it's just a moment. And I'm going to get through this moment and I'm going to heal. And I know I am, because I've healed before and I've healed, I can't say from anything worse. I really feel like I lost a kid. Like that's how I felt in that moment. But we're here now and we're back on this regimen. So we're excited again. But for you who's watching this, don't feel the pressure for the new year. Like everybody else around you may be saying, new year, new me, new year, I feel my best. And that might not be your truth, right? So don't let the 1/1/25 trigger you into feeling and making you feel like you can't feel what's really happening. But today and every day, you do need to wake up and make the decision that you're still committed to the belief that you're going to get on the other side of this. And that's what kept me moving throughout the year. I'm a high function. I learned through this process that I'm high functioning no matter what's going on. I'm feeling the lowest I've ever felt and I can still show up. And I still was showing up, like for business and for my commitments and for all the things. And when that podcast episode of Full Transparency came out, I got so many messages from people who were saying, I couldn't even tell. Yeah. And I struggle with that too, because people need to be able to tell that something is going on with you. Otherwise, you may not be leveraging your anchors. They don't even know that you're drifting.
Incredible. Incredible. Well, I want to commend you for your strength, because, other people are going through stuff too. But the fact that you can still show up and help the whole world when you're going through. I think that's commendable.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
sure.
Like, you are a leader. This is what leaders have to go through.
Yeah.
Right. But the fact that you have this not so public side where you know where to go get better, you know how to get yourself out of this. I'm proud of you on that.
Definitely. And you know what? As leaders, we are held to a higher calling. And that doesn't mean that we're any better than anybody else and our problems are any different than anybody else. It just means that when you choose to be a leader, the standard that you're held to is higher. So you have to show up anyway. And we have to learn. This is why people who are in leadership roles invest so much money into these therapies and these transformative experiences that keep them sharp. These things that expedite the healing process. That's why you find so many people who are investing like tens of thousands. The way we invest tens of thousands of dollars into professional development, they're doing the same thing in their personal development. And it just makes so much sense now. It makes so much sense that every time I travel to Arizona, it's thousands of dollars to do this, but I come back feeling like $1 million, right? It makes so much sense. And so even with that, like, you have to invest in yourself. You have to invest in your healing and recovery. It's not something that just happens. You have to be intentional about it, because as leaders, we are held to this standard. We have taken on the responsibility voluntarily. Nobody is making us do it. We have volunteered our lives to be a demonstration of what's possible for other people.
100%.
And so I remember when we were coming back from, what was that city we drove to for that speaking event?
It wasn't Macon. It was.
Was it Valdosta?
I don't think it was Valdosta either. I forgot.
Where's Fort Valley?
It was something. It wasn't Valdosta. Was it?
Because Fort Valley was big there. Where's Fort Valley University?
I don't know.
Okay. Anyway. So we drove somewhere, Columbus.
Columbus, yeah.
We drove to Columbus, Georgia, and on the way back was when I shared with you what I'd been experiencing. And David was like, wow, I couldn't even tell. And I'm like, well, I had been dropping breadcrumbs along the way.
I knew something. You couldn't tell what you was going through, though.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot. I know when you're not you and you have a high day, but I don't know if you'll ever like get into like the story, but I don't think anybody be able to see that.
Yeah. So I've dropped breadcrumbs along the way, like my posture, some things that I was saying, I didn't even realize they were breadcrumbs, but it turns out they were breadcrumbs. I don't know where I was about to go with this story. We were going and I shared this. What was I saying right before this? Do you remember?
I don't.
Dang it.
Really
I was going somewhere with this story. We'll come back to it.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll come back to it.
But here's the thing. You can't even be a leader. You can't be in a place of influence unless you go through this stuff anyway. So the people who go through this and they let it break them and they fold, you'll never be able to get to that point where you want to get to, because you can't get through this. And if you can't get through this, you can't help anybody else. So you can't really be expected to lead other people.
Oh, I know where I was going.
Go for it.
So on the way back, I'm telling Dave for the first time, and this was just a couple of months ago, and he said, are you going to share this, that this was your experience? And I'm like, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. And it was because this feeling was foreign to me too. I don't really know what's happening, right? But also, I'm a leader. I have people who believe in me. I have people who are looking to me to save some part of them or their business. And so if I talk about this, do you see me differently? Is this going to be helpful to my audience? Like, is this something that's going to make people create excuses for what's happening in their life and feel the need to like pull back? Or is this something where you look at me and you say, wow, if she's experiencing this and moving through it gracefully, then I need to get my butt up. I just didn't know how y'all would receive this. And so I didn't want to really talk about it. Yeah. I just wanted to keep showing up. But the transitioning point for me was me realizing, I kept hearing over and over. I think I told you, I keep hearing over and over, people are just struggling. People are suffering. People are doing these things and people feel so alone. And I felt like I had a conversation with a friend who was just having like the worst moment, right? Everything's just falling apart. at the same time. And I said, okay. I had a conversation with her and gave her some strategies. And later she came back and said, I feel so light and free now. And I'm like, man, I think the people who are tuned into me, they could use this too. Yeah. So let me just show the real transparent side and show you that it's not perfect, right? It's not a perfect journey. It's not a journey without challenges and obstacles, but it is whatever has happened, it happened. Yeah. Like it happened, most of it, you can't go back and do anything about what happened, but you can have impact and decision and control over what happens, right? Yeah. And I wanted you guys to see me in the process, not over the process, because you need to see me in this stage and see how I'm navigating it, because I've always said, I've been saying for the last 12, 13 years that my life is my life, I've always wanted it to be the voice of hope to you about what's possible. Mm. And it can't just be about the wins. It can't just be about making money. There's real life stuff that's happening. And entrepreneurs at the end of the day, CEOs, leaders, entrepreneurs, we're all still facing these down cycles at some point. You'll have high. I had a high for years. Mm-hmm. And then this was a low. Yeah. And I got to show you how to navigate that journey too.
For sure. I think many people's prayers that, kind of things get lighter or things aren't as heavy, but the prayer really should be, make me strong enough. Allow me to be strong enough to take care of this. Yes. Because once you're on the other side of it, not only is the thing out of your way, but you get to keep that strength with you. And you can move forward and you'll be trusted with more responsibility. So for those that are just looking for a better year of 2025, if you didn't go through it in 2024 and you're stronger on the other side, 2025 isn't just going to get better until you do. Mm-hmm. So I think you had we were actually talking about this morning, what we're doing in our communities. Mm-hmm. And I definitely want to hear how you're kicking off the year, because that's important. Kicking off this year, especially if we've been determined to be a new being, a new person, like we want to be stronger, better. This isn't just the time to be excited. This is the time to dig deep and do some hard stuff.
We got to do hard work.
Let's go. So
we got to do the uncomfortable work, the hard work. We just, and that's really the gist of it. That's the theme. Actionable CEO is a community that drives action. Yeah. It's not just, let's have a bunch of fun conversations that inspire you and get you excited. Sometimes the conversations have to be tough. Yeah. Sometimes I have to hold the mirror up to you and say, you're the problem, or your habits are the problem, or your environment is the problem. And this year we're focused on clearing out these roadblocks, right? Either clearing them out or compartmentalizing them in a way that allows us to navigate around them. Yeah. Sometimes roadblocks are heavy and you can't just get out your car and pick this stone up and move it to the side. Sometimes you just got to find a way to go around it. It's still there, but we got to get around it. For sure. And so I am starting off the year with a detox. Mm-hmm. And some people may look at this as just a detox to cleanse your body, but this is just a cleanse. This is just a release, right? And that's what we're starting the year. We're starting the year releasing, because it sounds good to say 2025, I'm brand new, but you're really not. You're really like you went to sleep and you woke up and the year changed, right? You're really not brand new. Oh my God. So I'm having a conversation with my homeboy, Nate. Shout out to From Nate with Love, you guys on Instagram. And came up with a really great epiphany. Okay. Delusion is biblical. Okay. This is the year of delusion. Mm-hmm. You got to be delusion. You got to be delusional, meaning you have to believe so deeply that the desires of your heart, everything that you wrote down, these goals are happening. You got to believe so deeply that these things are happening for you that it feels like it. You're walking around and you're talking like it. You're talking like the millionaire. You're talking like the married woman or the married man. You're talking like the happy person, even when you're talking like the person who's living in the mansion and driving the dream car, even when the conditions around you don't add up. Yeah. The conditions around you will force you to feel like you're living a lie. There's going to be somebody who says, but Dave, I know you in real life. I know you're not doing X, Y, and Z. You're not driving the Rolls Royce and you're not doing this thing. Donni, I know you in real life, right? There are going to be people who make you feel like a hypocrite, but you got to stay delusional. Mm-hmm. You have to stay delusional. It says in the Bible, as a man thinketh, so is he. And so that is instruction. Like God is giving us the instruction. He didn't say, as you achieve it, so is he. It says, as a man thinketh, so is he. It shall be based on what you think. So that's so big. Just that one little line is so huge because you have to think it first. And it goes back into, what are you believing about yourself? What are you believing about your goals? Like, did you write it down in disbelief? You can write what you don't believe. For sure. You can create a vision board for what you don't believe. You can tell people what you don't believe. It also says write it down and make it plain. Yeah. And so you have to, that's why they say you have to have just the faith of a mustard seed. Yeah. Really, really, really big dreams that scare you, but just the faith of a mustard seed. And can this faith cause you to think long enough, strong enough, deep enough, with enough faith and with enough belief? God is going to meet you right where you are, but you have to show up with faith and you have to come through with action. And then everything else is going to unfold. As a man thinketh, so is he. You got to think it first. You've got to get this thought deeply ingrained in your mind. And here's the thing, Shans, when you start to say it, it may feel foreign. It may feel silly. It may feel delusional in a negative way. It may feel unrealistic. It may feel like you're hypocritical and living a lie. But now you have to start acting as it, right? So if your goal is $1 million this year, it's like, I'm a millionaire. Yeah. If your goal is to be a millionaire, I'm a millionaire. Well, the bank doesn't say that you're a millionaire. The clothes that you're wearing, the home that you live in, the cars that you're driving, your habits, they don't say millionaire. What part of that can I control so that I am feeling and thinking and becoming this millionaire in my mind first? Because I know it has to happen here. If you can see it in your head, you can hold it in your hands. It has to happen here first. So the habits I can shift. Well, let me now start researching the habits of millionaires. Let me look at the millionaires that sit in front of you and say, well, what are they doing? What's their morning routine, their nightly routine? What's their work ethic like? Yeah. How do they show up in spite of? Right? How do they keep going? How do they make decisions? What decisions are they making? What kind of friends are they keeping around them? Those are the things that you can control. And let me tell you something. If you start creating your environment and you start putting friends around you that support the idea of you becoming that multimillionaire, you start adjusting your habits. You're waking up a little bit earlier. Your day starts a little bit earlier. You're reviewing your goals every single day. You're hitting the gym. You're doing the things. It can't keep happening without the results showing up.
100%. So with your community, with Actionable CEO, how do you have them starting the year off?
So we are starting the year. We don't start our year until next week, right? So we're going to be a week into it, but we're not, Chance, necessarily doing, I started them off 2 months ago. For this year. For sure. I was very intentional about telling them that we're not just doing this shift in the community. I want to train and drive the behavior of doing things all the time with consistency anyway. Darius said yesterday that inconsistency is what's keeping you from your goals. Inconsistency is what's keeping you from finishing, because inconsistency means that you're stopping a thing and starting a thing and stopping a thing and starting a thing. And inconsistency keeps you at the starting point. You'll never finish. And so I am driving the behavior of, let's start this now. So 2 months ago, we started the behavior of driving toward our goals, really, really, really doing the work. We're in the 12-week year. I'm starting off the year. The 12-week year is a guide for us all year long, right? So that's a book that we've read, but we will continue to reference that book all year long. We're not putting it down, but we're also starting off with How to Win Friends and Influence People in this month. One of my favorites. It is, if you've never read this book, it is one of the top 3 personal and professional development books that I would recommend of all time. Yeah, it's easy. I mean, easy. Just you have to read the book. And the reason that we're starting here in terms of our read is because I've realized through ups, downs, wins, losses, millions made, thousands made, hundreds made, whatever, a lot of what we do is connected to relationship. Yeah. And so if a lot of success is connected to relationship, your network, who you know, who you're surrounded by, if it's true that the 5 closest people to you are going to impact you the most, influence you the most, then we really got to understand how to pick people. And then we have to understand how to control. I control my circle. Yeah. You are one of my best friends and you are in a very controlled friendship circle. meaning I show up as the type of friends I want to have around me.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't be a friend who's falling off, or I get you out of my circle. Yeah. It's like I either show up and continue to influence the environment so that that environment can pour back into me. You don't feel like anybody's pouring into you, then you got to check the way you're pouring into others, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe you're pouring into others in a transactional way. That is, it just stops here. But if we're pouring into others through the habits that we create, the conversations that we have, the things that we entertain, then this environment has to come back to me. Yeah. So this book is really important to start off with because your relationships are what's going to help you reach your goals.
100%.
We don't reach them in isolation. That's one. We've got this Millionaire morning call now in Actionable CEO where we're starting off with a motivational message every single day and we're finishing it in prayer every single day. Mm-hmm. Selfishly, that was for me, not for them. Yeah. That's one of the things that helped me pull it back together. Like I was struggling to commit to my morning routine. Y'all know I got a morning routine. But when you're going through depression, you fail to do the things that you know help you win. Mm-hmm. You just physically can't get up and journal. You struggle to pray. You don't even know what to ask for. You feel guilty. You feel shame. You feel all these things. And so I said, I know I need that, but I'm not in a position where I'm drifting. I'm not in a position where I am anchored enough or strong enough to do it on my own. Let me make it an incentive inside of Actionable CEO. And now I got to show up because what I am doing is showing up for my business consistently. 100%. So let's make it a part of the business. Yeah. And those are two ways that we're starting off strong. And I'm starting a fast today. This is not, we're always on a fitness journey, a becoming your best self journey together. We started this last year. We started this, well, we didn't even really start. We had a few shared experiences of going on 2 mile walks together. Mm-hmm. We're in the call and I'm literally walking the 2 miles in this call. And they're either walking along with me outside or they're on their treadmills or standing in place doing their walks. And so we're starting our year off in faith, foundation, and fitness.
Love it. Mm-hmm. Love it. We, I think every year we start off, and like you said, we didn't start the year when the year started. The whole last quarter was about preparing our heart, preparing our mind, preparing our finances, preparing who we are for this year so that you're not waking up January 1st saying, oh, I'm new now. You know what I mean? Like this is why it's so important to be a part of a community. So we are starting with 35 hard. You know what I mean?
I love that for you. Let's take 75 hard.
And go on and remix it. You know what I mean? For our community. It was for me, selfishly. I just wasn't ready for 75 hard because I'm not working out outside. I'm not doing that.
So what's 35? Oh, okay. So it's 35 hard, one workout a day?
It's a little remix. So I'm about to share with you. Okay, let's go. So one is the physical. So we are going to work out at least 30 minutes a day. Every day.
I like that.
45 minutes.
Is this a gym workout, a home workout?
So however the 45 minutes comes, either in the gym, in your house. My thing is if I'm traveling, I'll do 200 push-ups, which is, no, it's 35. It's 35, yeah. So 35 minutes. Let me just get my notes. So the 35 minutes a day. And if I'm traveling, then I'm going to do 200 push-ups if I'm traveling, which would take me about 35 minutes anyway. So push-ups, crunches, I'll just do a 35-minute workout, right? So that's the physical. So everyone is going to work out 35. You did yours yet? Okay, today though, right? I brought my clothes, got my little gym bag. 35 minutes of working out. And the cool thing is this is an everyday thing. So the next morning we are going to discuss to hold each other accountable, right? So 35-minute workout. And I have to, and y'all know I don't just lie to people. So if I know I have to face this group of people every morning, which is going to push me to make sure I knock this thing out. So then we got diet. Okay. So 75 hard, you got to do 2 workouts. One got to be outside. It's crazy. We're only doing one for 35 minutes. And also diet, we adopted this from 75 hard. And this is only for 35 days. 35 days. You pick your diet. So mine is no dairy, no sugar. And this is tough for me. I love dairy. Almost sexually attracted to dairy. You know what I mean? I love some cheese, milks, the yogurts. I absolutely love it. And I've never ever done this before. So I did the no fried food. I did no snacks. I did no sweets. But This one is no dairy, no sugar, 35 days. And the reason we're starting with this this initiative is because when the clock strikes 12 and it's a brand new year, we get excited and we get happy. And I don't want it to be excitement. I don't want it to be happy. I want it to be focused.
Yeah.
We are going to lock in because every fast, or I don't know if you've ever experienced a fast, the person is watching, it has very little to do with your physical being. You know what I mean? Some people will fast because it's going to transform your body, but that's the smallest result. It's a mental thing. It's, you say I'm not going to eat, but I'm hungry. What do I do? Do I go back to being the same person I've always been where I just fold? Okay, maybe I'll have a cheat day. Okay, maybe I'll just do a little something. Maybe, okay, then you start negotiating with yourself. All right, well, it won't be that bad. Okay, I'll take a break right here. And this is just a break and it's okay. And I've been researching. You're not supposed to fast. So the reason I'm going against what I said I was going to do is because I found something on the internet, but I researched it in a way that said, what are the negative things that can happen according to your fast? Because you're looking for an excuse for yourself. But I told him, I want you to be exhausted 35 days from now. I want this to be a focused, intense 35 days. So no dairy, no sugar. So diet, no dairy, no sugar. Hydration, gallon a day. Unless you have some sort of doctor's recommendation, but whatever that amount of water is, you got to do your water, your hydration. Reading 5 to 10 pages. It's 10 pages long. We normally read 10 pages anyway, but on the weekends, we don't read our book. So you still got to do your 5 to 10 pages every single day. I added a caveat to mine. It's going to be one biblical reading every single day. So even if I do my 5 to 10 in a personal development book, I'm still going to read another 5 to 10 in a biblical book.
Are you starting at the beginning?
Where?
At the beginning of the Bible.
I wasn't.
Because I'm reading the Bible straight through. I've never read the Bible straight through.
You want a certain amount of pages every day or something?
So the way that I broke it down based on the number of pages in my Bible, like 1476, something like that, I have to read 5 pages a day.
Okay. Let me see how I'm with it.
I'm reading King James Version.
Okay.
New King James Version.
I'm with it. Yeah, I'm with that.
All right.
Okay. All right. I'll start that today. Then make sure we text each other. Okay, my 5 is done.
5 is done.
And here's the last part of the 75 hard. We got physical. 35 hard. Physical, diet, hydration, reading. And this will actually be the screensaver on my phone for the next 35 days. 2 to 3 sales pitches a day. Meaning you have to ask 3 to 5. I'm sorry. 3 to 5 sales pitches every single day. You have to ask 3 to 5 people to buy something from you. And I was letting them know, I don't care if they say yes. This isn't about the results. It's about me saying, oh, and I told y'all, look, I just dropped my new book too, Donni.
You dropped it?
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, it's my new book. I wrote it a while ago, but I redesigned it.
Okay.
Would you like to buy one?
I would.
If Donni said no or she says yes, it doesn't matter because that's one of my 3 down. I want to get people super comfortable with asking random people to buy. I don't care if you say, look, buy this and then walk away. Like, yo, would you like to buy this?
Hold on real quick.
Go for it.
Boss Mom Jen is on the live. You want to ask her to buy the book?
Yeah, absolutely. Boss Mom. Well, I'm actually going to go live because I don't want to make a blast asking people. I'm going to go live. If I don't have it, you'll see me going live, bringing people up. It's going to be a coaching session. And I'm going to ask, you want to buy something?
I got you.
So I got one out the way. It's $30.
I'll cash app you right now.
Hey, we got us one. But yo, it was so cool because while we were on the morning meetup, people were like, yo, I'm super nervous. And I'm like, yo, it's not about the results. If you ask 3 to 5 people to buy something from you for 35 days, you get more and more comfortable because we're not attached to the outcome. It's not like, I'm not saying make 3 to 5 sales. I'm saying just ask 3 to 5 people, you will get in that routine. 1, you'll get better at sales. 2, you'll get people like Donni to say, yo, I'll send you the money right now. So that is our 35 hard. It's not hard. It's challenging. So 35 challenging. You know
I think it's challenging. I think it's challenging enough.
Yeah,
I think
for
it's
sure.
productive. You got your money.
Hey, I sold a book. And why did I sell a book? Because I had this challenge and I asked. And I told them too, listen, call up your friends and say, yo, I'm in this challenge right now. I don't care about your answer, but would you like to buy this from me? And some of your friends will actually just buy just because, right? So this is going to be strong, man. So that's our 35 hard.
Listen, you got what you need from this episode.
Oh, for sure.
You got what you need from this episode.
You went crazy on this episode, though.
You think so? I mean, I think we did.
No, I'll let you talk for just most of it. I'm just in awe. And I'm like learning, oh my gosh, your story is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what Darius said to me?
What's that?
That he and Shamika come across my videos, and he said every now and then he'll see a viral moment, and he always says to Shamika, Donni needs to speak more.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she's still shrinking herself.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked at me and he said, get loud.
Yeah.
Get loud. Get loud. And I'm about to get loud.
You about to get loud.
I'm about to get loud. I'm ready to get loud.
Yeah, you know what's interesting? So like doing this event we just did, which was fire, Donni be out of that kind of stuff. And you've done events, of course, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think, and I do events every year. I've been doing them for years, right? Mm-hmm. So of course I'm more comfortable. I just do it, right? But after this event that you put on, this ain't like you're a featured speaker at somebody's event. Like you did that. Mm-hmm. And Donni was like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. So we are going to see a loud Donni Wiggins in 2025.
I'm about to get loud. You know what's crazy is I wanted to say that my mic is always significantly louder than yours. It's because my voice is louder than yours, right? So our mic levels are typically the same, but because I speak louder than you, when we play these back and when the clips come out, I'm always like screaming and I'm always like, why am I so loud? Mm-hmm. And I literally have it in my notes to remind in post to adjust my sound. Mm-hmm. Keep me loud.
Keep me loud.
Keep me loud.
Well, the good news is we got Tybo, so that was actually wasn't like
keep me loud. Tybo.
It was just
keep me loud is the instruction. But that's why I wanted to write it down because I knew that Tybo is really, really good with the tech stuff on the back end. But don't turn me down.
Come on, man.
Because I'm out loud.
Don't turn me down. Hey, somebody put it in the comments in the chat. Don't turn me down. And
I'm shaking the table. I'm shaking the table.
And the first person you have to tell to not turn you down is you.
Yes.
You got to look in the mirror and say, don't turn me down.
Don't turn me down.
And see you telling you that. I'm excited for you.
I'm excited for us.
Yeah.
This is about to be lit. Yeah. And we're taking y'all on the journey. Hey, you guys, real quick. David and I both have communities, Actionable CEO at actionableceo.com, a community for entrepreneurs where you are coming for entrepreneurs who are interested in personal, professional, and financial development. themorningmeetup.com, the coolest place to meet every single day for entrepreneurs every single day. They are both highly interactive and engaged communities with myself, Donni Wiggins, and David Shands. Y'all need to be in a community. If you want to do a new thing in this year, link up and get anchored in mentorship, in community, in network. And that is the first step that you take toward your win. We are also dropping something for you. By the time you see this video, be sure to check the links because I think we should share.
What do you want to share?
I think we should share to the public the first Million Live experience. My First Million.
You think?
I think we should share the My First Million experience.
That was a coveted event. This is like this really marks, and we've done events, but we never did an event like this.
Like this, from scratch, the process. I wish we documented more of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Like the behind the scenes part. I wish we've got a thread of text messages and all the things, but I wish we were on video showing the process. Like when you get to come to events, you get to walk into the room of an idea that's been manifesting and being developed and built over months. And the experience looks great for you. Meanwhile, we're behind the curtains like, that didn't happen right. We're behind here. This didn't go off. This was a disaster. This was a nightmare. That was okay. Yeah. But you don't get to see, that part, all of the decisions that we have to make. You don't get to see how we come to the table with all of these bright ideas and we want to do this, and this. And then we got to start cutting things off. We got to start trimming the fat just a little bit because in order to make sure you get what you need, and we stay in the budget that we need and we can keep the tickets at the price that we need, like you don't get to see the disappointment of saying, dang, we can't use that team because the experience, So I wish we would have documented it, but we're going to do better in this year
Are we gonna open up the mastermind for people though?
I think we can open up 5 spots.
You think? I don't want to be too congested, but like we're taking people on a journey of this is going to be your first $1 million year.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if we even like talked about it before, like this moment right now, but I think that would be valuable.
Mm-hmm. I think so. What David is talking about at the mastermind, at the My First Million conference, we extended an opportunity for a small group of people to work with us for a few months to make sure that they're really on track, to make sure that they really have the foundation right to have a real opportunity to make their first million this year, right? Yep. That's the goal. And so we extended this opportunity. It is an investment heavy opportunity. So this is only for people who believe that they actually have a shot, believe that all they're missing is that foundation, is that anchor to make sure you're not drifting. Are those principles? Are those strategies? Is that back end information? It's only for those. You have to go through an application process via a phone call just to make sure that you're in the mind, because it's like $10,000 or something like that. There's a tier for $5,000. The other one I believe is $10,000. And if you're not going to take this seriously, I'm sure I can speak for you in this. There's something better you can do with your $5,000.
100%.
If you're not in a position where you know it's time for me to tighten up, lock in, focus, get anchored. If you don't feel like being locked in with me and David is the missing piece for you, sit this one out and maybe take that $5,000 to $10,000 and invest in some marketing or some rebranding, some visuals, whatever that looks like Bitcoin. For you. Or Bitcoin.
Go get you some Bitcoin.
Go get you some crypto.
Yeah, so we'll have a link. If we'll have a link in the episode. Obviously, if you guys are watching this live, send Donni or I a DM, and we'll get you some information on that. Mm-hmm. And yeah, man, this is going to be a just save this conversation. Excited! Save this episode, y'all, because 2025 is about to be a roller coaster of experiences. And at the end of it, oh my gosh, I'm looking to have so many stories and so many testimonies and so many breakthroughs. And this first of the year feeling, we are going to have every couple months. I
haven't been excited in a long time. Yeah. I am so excited. In fact, I am already grateful for the 2025 that I experienced because I've already seen it play out in my mind. I'm already thinking about it. So I'm pre-grateful.
Let's go.
I'm pre-grateful.
Let's go. Y'all, thank y'all so much for checking us out. Thank you for rocking with us. Y'all, we've been here for years, man, consistently and haven't missed a beat. We just want to say thank you for all the support over the years. And we are dedicated and committed to 2025, just taking the show to another level, all of our information to another level, being even more accessible. We want to see y'all. Like, we're entertaining tours and things of that nature. So y'all keep rocking with us. We appreciate it.
We're out of here. Bye.
Peace. First off, congratulations on watching this whole episode. If you like this episode you just watched, check out this one right here. I handcrafted this one for you because you like the one you just watched. Check it out.